This is your daily market review for Thursday, September 26, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review, Thursday, September 26th, 2024. Interesting day. Talked about gapping up, opening at the highs, closing not necessarily at the lows, but a weird day. Again, if you got stopped out of your shorts, this is the kind of trap that we talk about that can happen. Not that you shouldn't or shouldn't have. Only you know the answer to your defined risk. And if you were long, we were talking about blow-off moves, potentialities. Well, keep an eye on today. I mean, I would say today's action as a bull or bear, you gotta be careful. And when I say careful, just identify that the risk to the reward for whatever trade you're in might be going against you or completely for you. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, links in the description below. We know going into tomorrow, what do we got data-wise? We don't have a ton going on other than, well, actually we do have personal income, PCE, spending. Again, the GDP, the durable orders, everything today. Again, I went through the numbers. I don't know how they came up with these. Again, it feels like they just plugged and played numbers in, basically assuming that, again, no one could verify anything. Because again, consumer sentiment, pending home sales, a lot of economic indicators falling off the cliff. Yet today's GDP was 3.0%. I don't know how the hell. Again, I posted it in the Discord room. Some of the stuff and how could someone actually go through this data? And again, if you're in there, you can see the GDP data. It's again seems like an election special. Anyway, it is what it is. You got to do what the market's doing. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, again, check out the Discord room. Follow, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube and the Twitter. I appreciate it. Back to Basics education series. Again, leave a comment below if you can. Take 2 seconds. Hit pause. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. I really appreciate it. Helps spread the word for folks who need help, want to grow. And again, all that Back to Basics education series also on my website, thetradingagent.com. Check out the recommended reading list. And if you'd like to chat about no matter what it is, trading, stocks, investing long-term, real estate, you're looking to buy, sell, invest, please hit me up. Again, I won't ever really take it personal, but I would feel disappointed if you ended up getting into a real estate transaction, you've been following this channel, and you just didn't even reach out. Let me know how I could help. Even if I don't give you service as an agent referring out, at least I can give you some ideas to think about when you're talking to agents. And if you know certain people, just ask certain questions. So always here to help. All right. We know that for anything to get, again, this is what's crazy. China's cutting. You got David Tepper coming on CNBC this morning going nuts saying, buy China, buy China, buy China. And you got the feds here stuck. If everything's so good, why are we looking at a 50 basis point cut in basically 6 weeks? I mean, 5 weeks after a half a cut. If everything's so good and the GDP is 3.0%, how the hell are we cutting so aggressively? Telling you some stuff just doesn't make sense. Be careful out there. That's all I can say. Bitcoin holding up pretty well. Just, man, it seems to be stuck here. That feels like a little bull trap. But again, high and tight is bullish. If it fails, you know what to do. Oil, again, I would think if GDP is growing, economic activity is strong, the future is looking great. I know there was talk of a ceasefire. Still, point being is, do the math. Down 5% today on oil, right? Something in that range. Sorry, 3-4%. Not what you would see on a typical day. Natural gas holding up incredibly well. Again, what was the actual price action on this one? Yeah, I had this big gap up and coming into the range highs. Again, near term, I'd probably take profit. We talked about this. So if you're new to the channel, don't beat yourself up about trading around positions. It's part of the game. Check this out, right? Economic data is great. Dollar's down. Okay? Economic data is great. Bonds should be sold. Doji. Okay? Economic data is great. VIX did what a VIX does. I mean, I'll give it credit. I mean, this is what the VIX does when it's chopping around. However, you're at, again, to me, this makes the most amount of sense. Risk reward for hedging positions, selling covered calls if needed. Just, again, I'd be careful out there. That's all I can say. VIVIX, as we talked about, typically bottoms first, right? Getting real tight down here. Real tight. SPY guy. Gaps up. Nothing. I mean, okay. QQQ fills the gap. Closes red. Okay, IWM. I mean, you look at the action. IWM's lagging. This just feels like a way to draw people in. And again, I've said this, and I'm on record, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong on this, but it feels like action to draw people in to unload into, right? Again, look at the Qs. We break over the recent highs. We gap up, fill the gap. Your guess is good as mine. I mean, again, the risk reward does not seem bullish, but here's the thing. You can't keep shorting if it continues to go higher. So again, define your risk, and if you need to sit out and just watch, that's what you do. Dia chopping at the highs. I mean, it's not the first time that you'll miss a move or a part of a move. Gold holding up incredibly well, right? Silver. We talked about the commodities long term. Makes sense. I mean, here you go. If Tepper's screaming China, commodities should be ripping. Gold, keep an eye on it. Because again, China, huge economy. They are like they just all up, suck up all commodities. And again, honestly, I think the most bullish economy is not China, United States, India long term. Keep an eye on this, right? GDX, I mean, they look like they're going, but a lot of dojis. Again, a lot of dojis action. AEM, it's been the boss, seems to be stuck. AG, talked about this oversold rally. Okay, cool. Holding up. Newmont, we talked about this, getting over the 54 area. Seems to be chopping around. PAAS, seems like it's okay, broke the downtrend, but man, could this turn into a big head and shoulders top? That's what I'd be nervous about. Taiwan Semi, glad I did not do shit to this stock. Watching it gap up today. Now it's starting to look interesting again for the short, but again, you have to define your risk. Look at Micron. Hits the 100-day to a freaking T. Holds support, but closes pretty red. Look at the volume on that. That, to me, looks like distribution, folks. Not someone buying it all in. They gap it up, run the price up so that sellers can just unload. We'll see. AMD. Doji. Breaking out. But again, watch tomorrow's action. NVIDIA. You'd think this thing would be up $5. Opens high. Meh. Closes up a whopping 48 cents. SMCI. Government probe. Look at this action, y'all. Fudge, man. If it holds up, I mean, just remember, buy the rumor, sell the news. Sell the rumor, buy the news. I mean, I'd be curious to know what really is going on there. I mean, that could have been an absolute steal down here today. You know, we talk about retest. I mean, thought we might get up into the 500. You got a gift today, potentially. Now, again, if they actually have real problems, look out below. Define your risk, set your stops, be thoughtful. But, man, if it is just a rumor, man, you've not like anything big, anything really coming out of it. Oh God, you got a gift. Intel gaps up today, small action, but you know it is holding up. Credit where credit's due. SMH again. I got a lot of people hitting me up, and they're like, look, you filled the gap. I'm like, okay, keep an eye on it. I mean, this is the kind of action you might see at a high. You know, red candles after gap ups. But it also, again, I mean, high and tight. Just you need the next couple days to play out. Adobe, it feels like the trap that caught everyone off guard, even me. Those are usually when I get tricked. The markets are treating the freaking market makers and the big boys. Adobe chopping around. Apple was up today all day, but nothing great. Trash floating. Amazon, this thing looked like it was about to get wrecked. They held it on to the 8 and 10 day. Looks like a left-right combo with just multiple right sides. Meta up 10 points again. Z closes closer to the lows. CRM, right? This had had a little Momo lately. Doji. Google, right? You think this would be cranking. 165. Hits the 50-day. Microsoft, this thing should be on fire, right? Chopping going nowhere. NDAQs, I told you, the Nasdaq has, if China's the freaking investment of the century, or investment of the decade, as Tepper's front, Nasdaq is not going to have any business. It's all going to be in industrials, metals, materials, chemicals, services, not Nasdaq. 20-day, watch out. MicroStrategy, You're welcome. Talked about this. Said, hey, this could be ominous, but then look, again, we always talk about dojis. You need to see the next day. It's called a doji sandwich. When it gapped up, this is what it should do. Close at the highs. Congrats. I mean, again, here you come into the zone. It's not easy, I know. Raise your stops, define your risk. I mean, that's an awesome move. You bought this at the 115, you're up to one. Good gold. You're doing good. Netflix, anyway. Left-right combo. Green, doji, right? See how the doji here, instead of doji and ripping, doji and turning. Be aware of it. Just worth a watch. God, roadblocks. Warren, folks. I said, if you cannot go, be careful. Damn. Big red today. Again, do you see what I'm saying? Like, the markets doesn't seem as strong as they like to. Again, the headlines are trying to project. Just, again, what's working is working. What's not. Be careful. That's all I can say. All right. Pan W, chopping around. Tesla. Got back into the range highs. We talked about this. Once the gap held, you had a doji. You held up. Now you're into the range highs. Just be careful. Just, again, these are great moves. That's all I can say. Just be freaking careful. Insight. We like this long term, like it in the 60s. Planter. Again, the short makes sense to me here. Break the 8 and 10 day after this big ass move. You ever heard of the 3 gap rule? 1 gap, 2 big gaps, 3 big gaps. Let's see what happens here. McDonald's holding up pretty damn well. Got to give it credit. So, I mean, if this is going, you could buy this. And this is a big consolidation pattern. If this is breaking out, it's going to go. DKNG. Again, this makes sense to short. Look, see here again, another doji where you should go higher. You didn't. You gave it back. Airbnb, we talked about the trash floats last. Look at that gap up right into the blue zone. Gives it back, closes at the low of the day. Trash floats last. Costco, after hours, has earnings. It is all over. Wow, has a range of 918 all the way to 886 right now, kind of at the 896 below the 20-day. Earnings, man, if you could hear, look at the 10-minute. Check this out. It's like wee, up, down, up. I mean, I saw it earlier. It's like up here and it's chopping, and then it's down here and it came back. Yeah, be careful. It's like a mouse gets the cheese. This might be an easy trade tomorrow. Keep an eye on it. Selling out of the money calls. Starbucks, chopping around. Not surprised. Nothing left to say on that. Chop, chop. But again, watch the 100 level. If you break over it, it's got potential. Federal Express, right? We talked about the 200-day. Look at that. Son of a bitch. Look at that. Hit the top of our blue range. Closes back at the lows. Caterpillar. This thing's been on fire. This obviously would be a China name, right? Tepper's yelling China. Like today, you would be like, oh, this thing's going. Okay. Doji. You need to see what happens tomorrow. If not, this thing could be left-right combo. Witchies. DE struggling up against the 4s, 16 area. Nucor again should be up bigger in my opinion. Okay, chopping, but it is working its way higher with red candles. X, somebody was like, no, we're not selling. No. They're not selling. We'll see. This is tough. Like X, again, play the extremes. Meaning buy the extreme lows and then just trade around it. VALE, as we talked about, should be lifting off if China's catching again, because China imports a lot from Brazil. Watch the 1180. Arrow, copper. We talked about this breaking the wedge. It's back towards the range highs. Again, I like junior copper. I hope it doesn't leave without me, but it won't be the first time I miss a train. The Hogwarts. CCJ. Leave a message if you recognize that and if you know what I'm talking about. Back test the trend line today. This thing's been fuego. Man, there's going to be some issues up here around 50. Just be careful with this one. I'm not, again, bullish or bearish. I mean, I'm long-term bullish, near-term, CF, again, we like the ag names. China, Mosaic, China. Should be bouncing more again. These names, I don't know. They probably will catch more money. Just be careful. Play them accordingly. There's better risk-reward coming off the bottoms than chasing tech. That's for damn sure. Aaron. Man, look at that. Again, I like aluminum. If China's, you need aluminum. Planes, trains, automobiles, aluminum. XLF, look at it. I mean, nothing today. 20 day, nothing. JP Morgan, right? Nothing. Morgan Stanley, little better. Breaking out, watching. Volume is light. Worth watching. Again, Bank of America, Bank of America. Chopping. Goldman Sachs breaking out. No. Nothing. Carry up a whopping 61 cents today. Again, junior banks do not look good. Ooh, XBI, right? Should be risk on. Everything's risk on. See why this is confusing? And a lot of people, again, I understand why they look at one or two stocks and they're like, the market's this, but then you zoom in, you're like, man, it is a little confusing. Housing index stocks, chopping. Solar, again, should do well if oil's up. Oil's down. Solar, nice little pop. Keep an eye on it. Sedge, again, I like these names. I mean, I think Sedge is, I just need to remove this. ENPH, it's such a turd. Again, I like this range, 124 down to 100, 90s, whatever. First Solar, up a whopping 14 bucks today. This is, again, so here you go. See, this is the gap, right? That could be the trap. The gap that is the trap. I mean, we've talked about First Solar is a wild beast. Try not to get burned taming her. USO. Caps down again today. Okay, good. All right, yeah, economic activity is great. Oil down. Natural gas, again, to me looks, this is like a good area, in my opinion, to just harvest some profits. If you shorted KLD, congrats. KLD, or XOP rate should be up. Should be on fire. Okay. I mean, this is interesting, right? China needs oil. Okay. CVE. We'll see if these come back alive and pull some, the Undertaker and pop right out of the coffin. MPC chopping around the lows. Tough to tell, right? Valero up a couple of points. Looks all right, but coming off the lows. ExxonMobil, right? Should be up today. It's a 200-day imbalances. I mean, it's just sitting here like, okay. Occidental, right? Buffett's buying it, right? You see my point here? It's not cut and dry. Leaders are lagging in leaders, all sorts of games. Be careful at your own risk. EQT, right? We like this long term, big choppy range. Last but not least, Flex LN Jizzle. LFX LNG. We like these names. I think we'll be natural gas exporters. So do me a favor. If you have a question, do not hesitate to reach out. This is not easy. It's not. And if you're long, congrats. Don't get greedy. Don't get cocky. Don't get stupid. And when I say that, meaning like we've all been there. Where you're like, I can't lose. And that's when the market's really good at making you do what? Taking your profits and putting them in their pocket. So if you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out. I appreciate all of the guys' comments, love, support. I mean, during the day, it's like, It's the open and the close. And the close really hasn't even been that great. It's the open. It's just action and then chop all day. It's rather frustrating. I get it. Hit me up. Talk to y'all later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.